Gone TV. Sun FM TV would like to welcome the following towns to Top Star Channel 91. Ndola, Kitwe, Luanshya, Mufulira, Kalulushi, Chingola, Chililabombwe, Kapiriamposhi, Kabwe, Lusaka, Kafue, Choma, Mazabuka, Livingston, Chipata, Chinsali, Kasama, Mansa, Solwezi, and Mongu. Feel free to interact with us and let us know where you are watching from. Only on your Top Star Decoders Channel 91, Sun FM TV. Radio Gone Rogue. Radio Gone TV.
Sun FM, broadcasting from the Copperbelt capital, Ndola City.
This is your favourite station. The news.
Hello, to present the news here on Sun FM Radio and TV, I am Imelda Chkwati. The headlines. Minister of Finance and National Planning Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane has acknowledged that access to affordable financing remains a significant challenge, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises. The European Union (EU) has expressed concern over the significant portion of electricity bills paid by water utilities in Zambia, noting that the expense is affecting service delivery. Livingstone Mayor Constance Muleabai has been acquitted of 2 corruption charges, including allegations of soliciting 120,000 kwacha and obtaining over 180,000 kwacha in cash gratification after the court ruled that the prosecution failed to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. South Africa's Sports Minister Getton Mackenzie says no formal decision has been taken to relocate the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON away from Morocco after his deputy announced that South Africa would step in and stage the finals.
The news. 88.5 Sun FM.
Finance Minister Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane has observed that without a sustained investment in education, skills and private sector growth, today's unemployed youth risk becoming tomorrow's lost generation. Speaking on ZNBC Sunday interview, speaking on the state of the economy and the road ahead, Dr. Msokotwane said Zambia's long-term future depends less on popular short-term decisions such as fuel subsidies. He argued that money spent propping up fuel prices could be better directed towards educating children who are currently out of school because their families cannot afford basic costs. The minister acknowledged that while Zambia's economy has recorded consistent growth in recent years and positive signs are visible, particularly in manufacturing zones, the country still has a long way to go. He said Zambia should aspire to become a middle-income country comparable to Mauritius, Malaysia, or Indonesia, where infrastructure is reliable, poverty is less visible, and citizens enjoy dignity through employment. Dr. Msokotwane noted that achieving this requires confronting the challenge of a rapidly growing youth population leaving schools and colleges without jobs.
So our part of government is to invest a lot into the skills of the people, to create the infrastructure, give the permits and change laws that inhibit the private sector. But above all, if you go into farms, you are looking for somebody who can plant properly, who can run a tractor properly, who can fertilize properly. And these are the skills that drive the economy.
Meanwhile, on the cost of borrowing, Dr. Msokotwane admitted that access to affordable finance remains a challenge, especially for small and medium enterprises. He argued that government has made efforts through various loan and grant schemes, including CDF and community development funds. The minister criticized the culture of loan default, saying failure to repay cheap public loans ultimately deprives others of access to finance and undermines a trust in support programs. He explained that the latest IMF disbursement would partly support the national budget and partly boost foreign exchange reserves at the Bank of Zambia. Dr. Msokotwane explained that the program helped restore fiscal discipline, redirect spending from subsidies to education and social protection, and revive key sectors such as mining and manufacturing.
Right now, people should realize that the stability in the exchange rate is a direct consequence of this program with the IMF. The decline in inflation is the direct consequence of this program with the IMF. The fact that we are able to provide free education, feed school children, cash for work, all these are the fruits of the program that we had with the IMF to turn the country from a basket case into a credible case where people can come and make investments, create jobs, and pay taxes.
The European Union (EU) has expressed concern over the significant portion of electricity bills paid by water utilities in Zambia, noting that the expense is affecting service delivery. The EU delegation in Zambia, together with the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA, observed that utilities such as ZESCO and Copperbelt Energy Corporation (CEC) remain major cost drivers for water companies, undermining their ability to provide reliable water and sanitation services. Head of Corporation Claudio Baccigaluppi explained that the EU is implementing the Nexus Energy and Water Program with 4 water utilities to address this challenge. He said the initiative promotes solar power systems to reduce dependence on grid electricity. Speaking during a courtesy call on Copperbelt Permanent Secretary, Mr. Baccigaluppi noted that the project, also known as the Nexus Energy Water Project, is designed to enhance water and sanitation services in the Copperbelt and northwestern provinces. He emphasized that the focus on these regions is driven by the Lobito Corridor, which provides Zambia with an alternative trade route to international ports. EU representatives are working with Zambian authorities to replicate the model across other utilities, promoting sustainable energy solutions and improving water supply services.
NEWSA project, this Nexus Energy Water project that started already 4 years ago, the preparation, and has had 2 phases. One phase that has touched upon 5 water utilities, commercial utilities, between them the utility in Kitwe. And now we are in the phase where we want to extend the program to NEWSA 2, that involves especially the Copperbelt and the Northwestern. And here I would like to put 2 essential elements, why we're doing that and why we are doing that in these regions.
Kafubu Water and Sanitation Company disclosed that it pays in excess of 7 million kwacha monthly in electricity bills, covering all its plants in Luansha and Ndola. Meanwhile, Copperbelt Permanent Secretary Lawrence Mwanza described the project as a step in the right direction, noting that last year's drought affected both power generation and water supply. He said the initiative would be cost-saving and beneficial to the people, assuring that the government will fully support the project.
Being threatened by ZESCO that will not give you power, so we have to go in to say, can you please give Nkana water power, because the whole population will not have water, and there will be no production in time. Because as government, all the departments will be paralyzed by asking people to go. And this new policy of free education, we've taken most of the children back to school. You find that the school spaces are filled with a lot of children. But now, where there's no water, and the population from Independence Day, we're talking about 3 million, but Zambia is going beyond 20 million, 22 million people.
Livingstone Mayor Constance Muliabai has been acquitted of 2 corruption charges, including allegations of soliciting 120,000 kwacha and obtaining over 180,000 kwacha in cash gratification, after the Livingstone Magistrate Court ruled that the prosecution failed to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. On the first count, Ms. Muliabai was accused of soliciting 120,000 kwacha from businessman Mark Gabites to facilitate the cancellation of property rate bills for Zamnuka Farm Limited at the Livingstone City Council. In the second count, she was accused of obtaining over 180,000 kwacha from the same complainant for the same alleged purpose. Delivering judgment, Lusaka Magistrate Judge Trevor Kasanda cited insufficient and unreliable evidence, noting that the state failed to establish probable cause linking the alleged payments to any abuse of office by the mayor. Magistrate Kasanda further urged the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC to thoroughly investigate cases before taking them to court, warning that inconsistencies and weak evidence could undermine justice. Speaking outside the Livingstone Magistrate Court following her acquittal, Ms. Muliabai described the ruling as a movement of relief and vindication, adding that it allows her to fully dedicate herself to the city's development.
After a long court battle, Livingstone Mayor Constance Muliabai has been cleared of corruption charges in a case which drew public attention, centered on allegations that the mayor solicited and received cash to facilitate the cancellation of property rates owed to the Livingstone City Council. In the first count, Ms. Muliabai was accused of soliciting 120,000 kwacha from businessman Mark Gabites to cancel rates for Zamnuka Farm Limited, and the second count, it was alleged that she obtained over 180,000 kwacha from the same complainant for the same purpose. Delivering judgment, sitting Lusaka Magistrate Judge Trevor Kasanda ruled that the prosecution failed to prove both counts beyond reasonable doubt, citing insufficient and unreliable evidence. Speaking outside court, Sesheke Area Member of Parliament Romeo said the mayor had been subjected to undue pressure and harassment and encouraged the public to remain supportive.
I have no doubt in my mind that my sister was undergoing political persecution.
Yes.
I've literally have no doubt.
Yes.
And it's only normal for a politician to be accused even for things they've never done.
Yes.
To my sister, remain strong, resolute, and steadfast.
Amen.
Focused. This is what every politician in this country, unfortunately, has passed through.
Amen.
And you are not exceptional. And this is just the beginning.
Ms. Muliabai's lawyer, Mark Queen Zaza, said he was pleased that the allegations were dismissed, adding that the ruling confirmed his client's innocence.
For me, I'm very happy that the mayor has been acquitted. You see, the premise upon which these allegations were made were in a way malicious towards the mayor. Maybe because of her popularity in Livingstone, and jealous.
Yes. Especially jealous.
Look at the man, which is alleged she had gotten. They are saying it came from Mark Gabites. At the end of the day, it's Monde again who is saying, I gave the mayor. The allegation is that she got the money from Mark Gabites. And the court has shown that the money was never gotten from Mark Gabites.
Yes.
That was very malicious.
Ms. Muliabai also expressed gratitude to her supporters and thanked them for rallying behind her during a challenging time.
I am stronger because of the people that didn't believe in me and the people who believed in me. So together we have a duty I will be failing if I don't thank the judiciary of this country, led by His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for the justice they continue delivering in our courts of law.
Prudence Mutalo reporting for Sun TV News in Livingstone, Southern Province.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, has fined Yango Zambia Limited for engaging in anti-competitive practices. Speaking at the CCP's 2026 annual press briefing, Executive Director Eunice Hamavwa revealed that investigations showed that Yango was underpricing taxi fares in an attempt to edge competitors out of the market. Mrs. Hamavwa explained that the company's strategy allowed it to later increase fares once competition had been weakened. She further disclosed that Yango had not been paying taxes in Zambia, giving it an unfair advantage over compliant operators. Concerns were also raised regarding driver treatment and licensing requirements. As a result, the CCPC has imposed a financial penalty on Yango and directed the company to improve transparency. The Commission ordered Yango to establish a platform for driver complaints and ensure trip details are displayed upfront, measures aimed at promoting fair competition and protecting consumers.
Additional concerns were raised regarding the treatment of drivers on the platform. It was alleged that drivers were unable to cancel trips prior to picking up passengers and were not provided with key trip details, such as destination and fare, before accepting rides. Complaints also indicated that certain incentives, including weekly driver bonuses, were withdrawn or revoked without clear explanation.
The Zambia Development Agency, ZDA, has assured prospective investors from South Africa over 100% repatriation of profits, emphasizing that Zambia does not interfere with investors' net earnings. The agency further disclosed that the country offers up to 10-year tax holidays for investments in multi-facility economic zones and industrial parks. ZDA Director General Albert Halwampa explained that Zambia's incentive framework makes the country unique and highly competitive for foreign direct investment. He revealed that the latest Fraser Institute report ranked Zambia as the third most attractive investment destination, citing good leadership, transparency in trade and investment, and private sector-driven policies. Speaking during the Intercontinental Energy and Infrastructure Investment Forum, Wampa highlighted opportunities in the energy sector, noting that Zambia aims to increase power generation capacity to 10,000 megawatts from the current 3,800 megawatts, of which about 85% is hydroelectric power.
You know, we are the second largest copper producing country in Africa. Our economy is one of the top 10 fastest growing economies in Africa. Of course, growing at an average of 6%. You know where we're coming from. In 2020, somewhere there, 21, we were at negative 2%, 2.8% negative. Now to get where we are at around average 6% is a huge amount of work that has been done. So global in terms of doing business, in Africa we are ranked first and fourth globally. Of course, that's the World Bank report. No one wants to argue with the World Bank.
Meanwhile, CEIIF South Africa co-convener Ms. Chiboni Evans described Zambia as action-oriented, commending its commitment to investment in the energy sector. She stressed the need for Africa to adopt homegrown solutions toward energy self-sufficiency, citing South Africa's electricity mix, which includes coal and nuclear power.
A certain way in which you're now having to generate your own power, which is self-generation, something we did in South Africa as well, where we're now sitting with 6,500 megawatts of off-grid solar and wind power, which is quite a huge asset base. But that was forced on us because we had to think innovatively as South Africans to make sure that we could power our homes, we could power our industries. Zambia has also come up with a number of innovative methods. They are using their fossil fuels in a very responsible way. Our hope is that on Wednesday we'll be at the Mamba plant to see how they've done that successfully. So they've not just utilized their coal resource, but they've used it in a way that they've managed to meet their COP obligation.
Communities in Kalumbila District, Northwestern Province, have been advised to ensure that they come up with wealth creation measures from the money they receive from the 2 giant mines in the district. One mining firm allocates millions of kwacha to 3 chiefdoms: Senior Chief Mukumbi, Chief Momena, and Chief Matewo, under an initiative called the Lumwana Trust Community. Speaking in an interview, Bernard Chilai, a resident of Kalumbila District, explains minerals are a wasting asset, hence the need to come up with sustainable income generation as communities. Mr. Chilai says the 3 chiefdoms should start looking at wealth creation as the chiefdom, instead of just focusing on receiving and using everything that they receive from the mining firm. He says the community needs to find means and ways that are sustainable for the betterment of continued wealth creation.
I say that we need to also start looking at wealth creation as a community, instead of just focusing on receiving and using everything that we are using, because at the end of the day, these minerals depreciate, and a point will come when they will finish. So we need to find means and ways how we continue having activities in our communities. Yeah, so I believe that we can come up with more economic activities that will bring more revenue to our communities.
Citizens have been called on to vote for leaders who can provide genuine representation rather than those who rely on handouts, party identity, or crowd-pleasing. Aspiring Lufanyama Member of Parliament Victor Kalesha stated that elections should not be reduced to candidates distributing food, playing loud music, or dominating rallies, but should instead focus on individuals capable of fearlessly representing the interests of the people. That leadership is about service and accountability, not personal gain or status. He noted that developments seen in other areas in lodges should prompt Lufanyama residents to reflect on their choices and demand better representation. Mr. Kalesha further stressed that leadership should create an enabling environment for employment rather than distributing money, adding that small-scale contracts such as grass cutting and basic maintenance should benefit local youth and women instead of being awarded to contractors from outside the district. He encouraged young people to form cooperatives, register them formally, and open bank accounts to access government and community-based contracts. He added that lack of formal education should not be viewed as a disadvantage, but as a reflection of limited opportunities which effective leadership must address. Mr. Kalesha concluded that his vision would prioritize local empowerment and protect employment opportunities for the people of Lufanyama from external exploitation.
Fumbwe, which has just begun with God, they have lodges, they have, some bit of infrastructure that is more attractive. What is wrong with Lufanyama? What is it that we have done? It is you, the people of Lufanyama, to make a decision to know who is your representative. Is your representative just going to have, the courtesy of being voted into office? This election, colleagues in Lufanyama, is not about political party. It is not about who buys you more food. It is not about who speaks the loudest. It's not the one who comes and plays the biggest music to dance and then you vote for them. This election is about choosing people that you feel should be able to represent us adequately.
This is the news on Sun FM Radio and TV. For now, we'll take a break.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. I'll say goodbye to blackouts with a new Topstar solar solution, the H50 hybrid system. Enjoy a safe and reliable solar solution at home or your business with the Topstar hybrid inverter, lithium battery, and 550-watt solar panels. Experience a peace of mind with reduced electricity bills. For more information, call or WhatsApp now on 0779 04 2000, 0779 04 2000, or visit our Facebook page at Topstar. Also, pay us a visit at our head office next to Arcade Shopping Mall. Topstar Solar. Power your life.
In sports news now, South Africa's Sports Minister Getton McKenzie says no formal decision has been taken to relocate the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON away from Morocco after his deputy announced that South Africa would step in and stage the finals. McKenzie issued a clarifying statement after Peace Mabe declared the nation will be hosting the tournament, which is scheduled to kick off on 17th March. But later in the evening, McKenzie said that Morocco remains the officially designated host of WAFCON 2026. The BBC Sports reports that CAF has been contacted for comment. Morocco is set to stage WAFCON for the third time in a row after years of investment by the kingdom in footballing infrastructure as it builds towards co-hosting the 2030 FIFA World Cup. The fact that the North African country has been a willing supporter of the women's game has solved a potential dilemma for CAF in recent years, given few nations have expressed an interest in staging WAFCON. The tournament attracts far fewer supporters than the men's equivalent, the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON, which Morocco has just staged. South Africa has reportedly tabled a bid to host the 2028 AFCON, and McKenzie says the country will continue to pursue a long-term strategy to put on major sporting events. With just 43 days until an expanded 16-team Africa did step in to replace Morocco, it would face a logistical challenge to be ready on time despite having 13 CAF-approved stadia. To end the news, the headlines once again. Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, has acknowledged that access to affordable financing remains a significant challenge, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises. The European Union, EU, has expressed concern over the significant portion of electricity bills paid by water utilities in Zambia, noting that the